certain that no one could discover his secret. He tried to forget his worries, decided to help his uncle a little longer. Then he would return to the Norobod farm, where he was already accustomed, fulfilling the wishes of Katienka and the children. No matter how hard Kostya tried, he couldn't get a private interview with Sumarokov. He was afraid of telling Mayra and not being accepted by her as a father. Now, with the note in hand, he had proof. No one could doubt his paternity. He, indeed, was his real father. He returned to capital, saying goodbye to everyone. He shook his daughter's delicate hand with a smile on his lips, without having courage to refer to the disastrous marriage proposal that, now for him, no longer had no sense. The old feeling of love as a man had been replaced by an ever-increasing affection, more paternal, a great desire to welcome her into his company and transform her life, offering her everything that fate had deprived her of. I could give her the comfort of young women. Wealthy, her dear Sasha had left her to brighten her lonely life and would act calmly and subtly, until he could have her in his company. He was proud and grateful to God for finally having her found. She was grateful to Sumarokov, who had saved her, given her her name and her home. A month later, as agreed, Sumarokov and his family returned to the Norobod farm. A surprise awaited him when he entered the izba and saw his secret discovered. Katienka, the woman called, her eyes widening. "Have you forgotten my coat?" Sumarokov, haunted. He had forgotten his old jacket in his haste to flee. And, with his soul in anguish, he realized that someone had stolen the precious ticket. "Oh, Iulián, you attach too much importance to this coat." The woman was startled. "The thing is that I kept something in the inside pocket of my coat, and someone messed with it. As for the coat, you can turn it into a rug for the dog, but you need to find the author of this feat. After so much time, this house has no security. Anyone could have entered," said the wife, who was unaware of the pocket and the note. "I will ask, and I will not rest until I know who the author was." "Okay, what was so important? Some treasure?" Disconcerted by the woman's question, Sumarokov stammered. "No, it wasn't that important. But the coat, despite being old and smelling of dead animals, had its use, and why not? Did they take them?" he asked, avoiding further explanations. The children came in to arrange the furniture in the house, and the conversation ended in a dead end. Later, Sumarokov discovered that Kostya had gone down to the izba, and his doubts grew. That note could be with him. He became restless and very distressed because someone else knew his secret. The poor mujik had no more peace, losing nights of sleep. 57 a gypsy. One day, a group of gypsies arrived at the entrance to the farm, looking for food, offering their goods, beautiful samovars, pots, and other interesting utensils. They were Ukrainians who, they headed north of the country, passing through the villages bringing their joy, their music, their tents. Colorful, they arrived in peace and after some time followed their destiny as wanderers. The magic infected the superstitious population who feared the misfortune they could cause. Entrance to the Norobodvis farm. The gypsies erected their tents, and no one had the courage to get them away from there. At night, around their bonfire, they would party. The parents, fearful, did not let their small children get close, but no one could, to contain the curiosity of young people who, seeking palm readers, lined up to be seen. A group of young men visited the camp to satisfy the natural curiosity of the unknown in exchange for some coins, game, some grain, or fabrics. Everyone wanted to know the future. Inside a tent, the young men extended their hands to a beautiful gypsy woman who, read destiny. Sumarokov's children, sitting in the middle of the circle, waited for the opportunity to be attended to. Anxiety, fear, hope were reflected in their eyes. Christian and Pavel had already gone and returned happy and thoughtful, meditating on what the gypsy woman had told them, had said. "What was it, Pavel, that she told you?" Christian asked curiously. "I can't reveal it here, because according to her, it could break her luck at home, perhaps." Promised the brother, looking at the long line, where many young women were also watching him. Did she tell you everything about your destiny? Nicholas asked softly, Is all this true? Did she? Do you really know? What do you think? It seemed very safe to me. You have to give your hand. Each hand a destiny. Look, they call you, it is. Your turn, Nicholas. Mayra asked to be the last. Her brothers would wait for her to return with her. They were all there without parental permission. After Nicolau, Mayra entered the tent, anxious and trembling. The gypsy woman brought magic to her words and her gaze. Her accent made her words more engaging. His singular manner convinced anyone that what he was saying was the purest reality. Mayra handed him her small hand, palm facing up. Girl, you have a palm that looks like a snowfield, but the man of your destiny is over. To leave the tent. Is this last one I attended to your boyfriend? I don't have a boyfriend, but I have suitors, she replied without understanding the allusion. Gypsy. However, you and this man, insisted the gypsy, have a destiny to fulfill, but I see another man who comes before your happiness and whom you consider a father. I see another who will support you and extend to you a hand when you need it most. The spirit of your mother watches over you. You will have 4 sons and remain your side, the fortune of a rich inheritance that will be offered to you, and even against your will, you will not be able to refuse what is rightfully yours. You will enjoy health and have the strength to communicate with others, dead, talking to them in their most difficult moments. You have a great friend at home. Trust her with your sadness, and she will know how to advise you. Your peace and happiness will depend only on following your intuition and leaving your big heart completely surrendered to the man that destiny has linked to you. The gypsy woman spilled the information, but failed to answer her questions, and Mayra left. From there, without knowing who would be the man of her destiny. The last one to leave the tent was her brother. Certainly, that gypsy woman had made a mistake and was confusing things, willing not to give credit. That curious game. He went home with his brothers and other young people who lived in farm. Mayra simply hadn't understood anything the gypsy had told her. Christian asked her, seeing her somewhat dissatisfied, Can you tell me what she did to you? You know, Christian, I didn't quite understand because I think, it wasn't that big of a deal. And you, what did she say? I will meet my future wife at a wedding party, and I will move to a city. Big. Don't say that, Christian. Shall we find out about the others? Each one spoke briefly about what had happened in the tent, and when it was Nicholas's turn, he dodged melancholy. Did everyone speak except you, Nicolau? Mayra asked, fixing her blue eyes on his. Is your destiny really that ugly? Or will you find a treasure and not want to share it with us? It's not about that, my sister. It's just that I didn't understand what the gypsy told me. I think she was bluffing. What do you mean? Asked Pavel, who was following the conversation. You see, she said that my future wife lives in my house and that I have known her for a long time. Date and my spirit accompanied his birth. I have never seen so much nonsense. These gypsies are liars and create confusion wherever they go. My change is gone. It was the price of my lesson. Soon, I will believe that my fortune is written in the lines of my hand. He grumbled. Didn't you tell us about your luck, Mayra? Asked Pavel. It was even worse for me, Nicolau Dash, he said, turning to him. You're right. They are cheaters and they really like to receive the rich payment. Imagine that the gypsy woman told me that I would inherit a rich inheritance that will give me security throughout my life. Now I ask you, where our rich relatives? I don't know them. Worst of all, he continued smiling, the man of my destiny. According to the gypsy, he was the last one to leave her tent. Before you, it was me, exclaimed Nicholas. Look how much we were fooled by her. We wasted our money, he complained. Christian, and me? I didn't spend any money, because I didn't have any, but I gave her my shawl, Mayra explained, certain that the gypsy had deceived them. The brothers soon forgot her predictions, although sometimes. Another brought back to the girl's memory those strong words that spoke of her life. Vague intuition warned her that the gypsy had not lied to her. Mayra tried to forget the gypsy's words. 58 new dreams. Fortune tellers and palm readers filled the village's young dreamers with hope. Now one or another young girl sneaked into one of these little doors, wrapped in scarves, leaving was just the essentials to see. Mayra was no different, and her curiosity grew, feeling drawn to the magic of the unknown. Karienka, ever since that gypsy read my palm, I've never had peace, even though I try. Forget your words. They torment me every now and then. I have difficulty falling asleep. I need of your help. The wizard neighbor told me about some meetings where there is the possibility of communication with the dead, and I really want to talk to my mother. I want her to accompany you to a meeting like this. I heard about these meetings too, Karienka explained. Where do you want to go? At the home of the former fortune teller, Majika. They say that after she discovered that the cards are just a pretext to speak on behalf of the spirits, he left the deck and dedicated himself to the sessions in, that she acts as a medium and the spirits speak through her using the alphabet. So I explained Professor Simeon. Your father won't like it, warned the stepmother. I don't usually disobey you, but Karienka, I need to talk to my mother, ask her for something. Guidance. I feel alone, because even if Comrade Kostya no longer appears, I do not. I stop thinking about him. I can't talk to my father. He won't understand, no matter how much he loves me. Are you in love with him? No, I don't think I am, but I would like to know about my future, because it doesn't tell me. Get out of my mind. I try to distract myself, but in vain. I dream a lot about the ghost of the farm that is always close to me. I never dreamed about my mother, and I would like to know news of her. If you accompany you, I'm sure Dad won't be mad. We can claim we were just doing a visit. Shall we, my friend? One should not invoke the dead. Do you remember what the priest said at the last Mass? He was precisely referring to these communications, which are disturbing the people, said Karienka, wanting to discourage her. Your mother may not be able to talk to you. Is she around after so many years? Karienka said, fearful of the spirit of her husband's ex-wife. She won't like it, knowing that I took your place. Let's forget this, Mayra. Are you afraid of Mommy's spirit? He found his unfounded fears amusing and tried. Persuade her. I think she is no longer worried about this. She may even have forgotten. Mr. Allan Kardec, one says that spirits also have their occupations. You are speaking like your followers. The Pope ordered anyone who spoke of him to be excommunicated, said Karienka, referring to the lion master who had acquired. Some admirers of the new doctrine. The one who can help you is Nicolau, who is reading some books and articles on Spiritism written by him. This is the name of the new doctrine that the Pope prohibited us. Quote, is Nicolau reading? Did he tell you? Mayra wanted to know because she thought that Professor had discussed Mr. Allan Kardec's articles only with her and that there was no more. No one there who was interested in him. Spiritism entered Russia through scientists and intellectuals who, with it, maintained correspondence. End of the spiritual author. No, he didn't say anything, but I saw the books hidden under the mattress. I think they were given to him, borrowed from the teacher. Deeply surprised, Mayra could hardly wait for her brother to arrive, so she could ask him. Don't tell him, Mayra, otherwise Nicolau will think I'm a snoop. All right, Karienka, I won't tell him what I know, but I'll get him to tell me about it. Subject that interests me and how I do. Perhaps he can accompany me to the session. Majika, please don't let him know that I saw the books under the mattress, Karienka begged. Don't worry, I'll keep it a secret. But I need you to come with me. Karienka, tomorrow, we'll hold a meeting and make an exception for me and my companions. How did you do it? It was Professor Simeon who told you about me. The new doctrine reached the Russian homeland through books, Joe Myas, and circulars that had already aroused the curiosity of the Tsars, and there was no harm in publicizing them. He had entered, firstly, as an experimental study of science and in-depth research on the magnetism in the land of occultism. The doctrine of spirits gained followers and conquered many, admirers among intellectuals and scientists. In the fertile soil of Mother Russia, a country full of traditions, beliefs, superstitions, and religious fanaticism, from the royal palace to mujiks. Distant, the ideas grew gradually, to the spite of the priests and the traditional church. Orthodox, serious mediums, parallel to the charlatan mediums who exploited people's superstition, began to appear here and there, piquing the curiosity of the population with meetings in which mixed the ritual of their beliefs with the liberating ideas of the doctrine of spirits. Never before has it been seen. So many fortune tellers, palm readers, and so many healers. One thing had become clear: the spirits communicated through the alphabet, cups, knocks, and other means. This novelty created in the soul of all true revolution what had always existed in all humanity now took the form of a religion, a way, unique life. Many considered the discovery phenomenal. Majika held meetings, using the alphabet on a wooden table or on a mirror. The people gathered around her asked their questions, and the spirit, through the alphabet, responded. It was a slow system. The meeting took a long time. Those interested were attentive, but the others in general fell asleep and only woke up after the results of the consultation. Sometimes the answers, incoherent, brought distrust. Mediumship was exploited in an erroneous way due to lack of enlightenment of the mediums who found in these consultations a form of income, a way to make a living. Sometimes the sessions ended in serious conflicts because the answers were not convincing, and in some cases it was called police guard to help with fights. Something so beautiful started in a completely wrong way and exploited by its misuse. The credibility of communications was lacking, but some reputable groups emerged, also attracting serious people. The doctrine of spirits would have encountered great resistance if, were it not for the circulars that came from Paris through intellectuals and scientists whose arguments managed to impress readers, who were increasingly eager for news. 59 Majika. Interested in the subject, Nicolau offered to accompany his sister and stepmother. He was very curious to attend an experimental meeting, waiting for an invitation. Moments later, the cart left the farm towards a nearby village. At the widow Majika's house, 20 people were crowded into the armchairs and cushions spread out. On the carpet, in the next room, a large wooden table and a smaller one, covered by a mirror, cut especially to become the stage of communications. Majika was a woman of her 40s, round face and piercing gaze. She was surrounded by people who made it difficult. Her reputation was not very good, but many well-respected ladies were there, accompanied by children or husbands, driven by curiosity and the importance of the subject in moment. The widow's house aroused interest. Many visitors disregarded the prejudices because they wanted to see the communication of the spirits. Mayra, Nokolo, and Katienka sat in a corner. After them, more people continued, entering, until they closed the door, not allowing anyone else to enter. The blue curtains of heavy fabric were closed. The room was plunged into a semi-darkness, inviting retreat. The lit candles cast shadows on the walls and ceiling. The silence was total in the room. You could hear just someone's panting breath. Mayra and Nilklaw longed to receive a word from their mother, some comforting phrase. The two were driven by curiosity, because the mother they knew was all there, the loving and sweet. Katienka, seated around a large table with the mediums, and at the head of the table, Majika, whose dark blue dress highlighted the whiteness of her cleavage, and the thick neck framed by a necklace with a beautiful ruby. She wasn't pretty, but she had a special smile and an intelligent look that captivated people. Her nose, a little large, became more pronounced when she smiled and contrasted with the small forehead where horizontal wrinkles formed when he expressed himself. From the angle at which they could see her profile, the three of them couldn't take their eyes off her. In fact, they all looked at her. Majika began to pray aloud, begging Jesus Christ for help for everyone. Her voice had a strong and hoarse timbre. His prayer was followed with great attention. Everyone seemed to drink every word she uttered. After she finished praying, everything was silent, and her hand glided over the alphabet placed in disorder on purpose. First the words appeared, and then the sentences, which someone wrote it down. Many stood up impatiently. Others sighed as if they were receiving spirits. Others narrated what was happening in the place and spoke of some spirits that accompanied the people present. The first sentence formed was read immediately. It was a message to a person who was accustomed to attending the session. Many benefited from the phrases, some advice, specials. The three visitors, with their eyes wide open, followed everything with the greatest attention when a medium, the seer, pointed at Mayra, sending a shiver down her spine. "Your mother is here and wants to talk to you." Nicolau looked at the medium, thinking he was referring to himself, because for him, his mother and Mayra was the same spirit. "No, it's not your mother, it's her mother," said the medium, inviting Mayra to sit down. "Table, you are a medium with a lot of spiritual baggage, and your mother wants to communicate with you." He made a pause, while Mayra was led to the indicated place. The medium, in a trance, spoke again in a voice, slowly and seriously. "Your mother died giving birth to you and asks for your future happiness, that you go to, meeting with your father. He will have important explanations for you about unknown facts of your life." Mayra was excited. Although she didn't understand the message, she fell silent, afraid of offend the medium as she told him she had been mistaken. She turned her face to Katienka, who was looking at her significantly, and asked the medium quietly, "Why doesn't she stink at me directly?" There was silence in the communicating entity, which only the medium was seeing and hearing. He took possession of another medium. It was a woman, and began to speak to her. "Here I am, my daughter. You never got to know me because we were separated. I don't regret it. What happened? I had the opportunity to redeem an immense debt that I had incurred in past lives. When I was a gypsy, I ruined several homes, misusing the gifts that God had given me. Granted, and I put countless innocent young people on the path of error. I was not fortunate enough to have a home, and have educated you, dear daughter, but God has directed you to people who love you and want the best for you," said Sasha to her daughter, with the consent of her guides. "I have permission from my protector to give you. Reveal these things, because in your destiny as a woman, you will have to know the whole truth one day. I assure you that only after speaking to you and helping you will I finally be able to rest my spirit. Troubled. Farewell, daughter. May Jesus Christ be with you." Mayra had distinguished, next to the medium, the ghost of the farm that now appeared to her in white clothes, without the bloodstains that caused her so much fear. She shivered all over when she saw her, remained connected to medium by a thin, bright thread, and then her figure faded away until disappear, and she saw nothing more. She wanted to ask what was happening and, in a broken voice, announced, "I see you. Don't go. Stay a little longer. Enlighten me, please." Mayra asked, excited, feeling a warmth enveloping her body. So many unknown people there, and she was so dazzled that she didn't care. She was totally disconcerted by what she had heard. Nicolau, in the corner, wanted to intervene, but someone asked him to step aside. "Shut up." The session was soon closed, because, in fact, that alphabet on the table was dispensable, because the mediums were prepared to receive communications. Great jealousy upset Majika's face when she saw people going after the mediums who received and saw the spirits. Everyone wanted to know who that charming young lady was who also saw spirits and talked to them, referring to Mayra, because the entire session was focused on her. Simple person. The girl was invited to return. Her presence seemed to move the spirits. So, Majika's assistants wanted, and she agreed. They said goodbye excitedly, and Mayra was eager to talk to her companions. She didn't know what to think about everything that had happened, but she didn't want to comment on it in front of strangers. Happy to be alone, the three recalled the facts in animated conversation. "Did you understand, Nicolau, what happened, or was it all just my fantasy?" he asked him.